Philadelphia, a city of neighborhoods, each with its own unique flavor. Tucked away along the eastern bank of the Schuylkill River lies a hidden gem, Manayunk. This vibrant neighborhood, a tapestry woven from history and hip, offers a unique charm that draws visitors in and keeps them coming back. Its steep hills and winding streets, lined with colorful row houses and Victorian-era mansions, evoke a bygone era. Trendy boutiques and art galleries share sidewalks with cozy cafes and gastropubs, creating a dynamic blend of old and new. To truly understand Manayunk, one must journey back in time to its origins as a small village along the Schuylkill River. The Lenape people called this land home, naming it Manayunk, which translates to where we go to drink. European settlers arrived in the late 17th century, drawn to the area's natural beauty and resources. The Schuylkill River played a pivotal role in shaping the community's destiny. In the early 19th century, the construction of the Schuylkill Canal transformed Manayunk into a bustling hub of commerce. The canal facilitated the transportation of goods, particularly coal and lumber, from Pennsylvania to Philadelphia. This influx of trade brought prosperity to Manayunk, attracting entrepreneurs, laborers, and their families. The mid-19th century witnessed the rise of the Industrial Revolution, and Manayunk became a centre for textile production. Mills sprang up along the banks of the Schuylkill, their towering smokestacks piercing the skyline. These mills, primarily focused on cotton and wool processing, became the lifeblood of Manayunk. They provided employment for thousands of workers, many of whom were immigrants seeking a better life. The rhythmic clatter of looms and the whir of spinning machines filled the air. Rows of identical houses, built to accommodate the influx of mill workers, sprang up on the hillsides. Churches, schools and social clubs were established, catering to the needs of the growing population. Workers toiled long hours in often dangerous conditions for meagre wages. Yet, despite the challenges, a strong sense of community flourished in Manayunk. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed the zenith of Manayunk's industrial prowess. The town bustled with activity, its mills operating at full capacity. But as the decades passed, the winds of change began to blow. The textile industry began to decline in the mid-20th century. Factors such as increased competition, the rise of synthetic fabrics, and shifting global markets led to a decline in demand. As mills closed their doors, thousands of jobs were lost. Manayunk faced an uncertain future, with its population dwindling. But a spirit of reinvention began to take hold. The very mills that had once defined Manayunk's industrial might would become the cornerstones of its transformation. Before European settlers, the land that would become Manayunk was inhabited by the Lenape people. They were drawn to the area's abundant natural resources, particularly the Schuylkill River. The Lenape called the area Manayunk, meaning where we go to drink. They cultivated crops such as corn, beans and squash, supplementing their diet with wild game and fish. The arrival of European settlers in the 17th century marked a turning point. The settlers encroached upon Lenape territory, leading to tensions and conflicts. Despite their efforts to resist, the Lenape were gradually displaced from their ancestral lands. In 1681, William Penn received a charter from King Charles II, granting him a vast tract of land in North America. Penn envisioned a colony founded on principles of peace, tolerance, and fair dealing. Among the early settlers were Welsh Quakers, who established a settlement in the area that would become known as Roxborough. Penn laid out the city of Philadelphia on a grid pattern, with wide streets and ample public spaces. Philadelphia rapidly developed into a major port city, attracting merchants, artisans, and entrepreneurs from across the Atlantic. The story of Manayunk begins in the late 18th century, when several prominent Philadelphians recognized the economic potential of the area. Among these early entrepreneurs was John Towson, a successful merchant and shipbuilder. Towson purchased a large tract of land in 1775, envisioning a bustling industrial centre. Another key figure was Jacob Markley, who built a cotton mill in 1795. Markley's cotton mill marked the beginning of Manayunk's transformation into a centre of industrial production. The early 19th century witnessed a surge in canal building across the United States. In 1816, the Schuylkill Navigation Company was formed with the goal of constructing a canal along the Schuylkill River. The canal, when completed, would revolutionize transportation and trade in the region. The construction of the Schuylkill Canal was a monumental undertaking, requiring years of labor and engineering ingenuity. On March 17, 1825, the Schuylkill Canal officially opened, stretching over 100 miles from Philadelphia to Port Carbon, Pennsylvania. The completion of the Schuylkill Canal had a profound impact on Manayunk's development. The canal provided a vital transportation link to markets both near and far. Manayunk, with its abundant water power and access to the canal, became a magnet for textile manufacturers. Mills specializing in cotton and woolen goods sprang up along the banks of the Schuylkill River. The demand for labor in Manayunk's mills attracted workers from across the region and beyond. Immigrants, primarily from Ireland and Germany, flocked to the town seeking employment and a better life. The mid-19th century witnessed a dramatic increase in immigration to the United States. Many of these immigrants found their way to Manayunk, drawn by the promise of employment in its textile mills. The Irish, fleeing the potato famine, arrived in droves, finding work as labourers in the mills and on the canal. The Germans, another large immigrant group, brought a strong work ethic and skilled craftsmanship. The influx of immigrants transformed Manayunk into a vibrant and diverse community. Churches, synagogues and social clubs were established, reflecting the cultural and religious traditions of the newcomers. The streets of Manayunk echoed with the sounds of different languages as people from various backgrounds came together to build a new life. The air in Manayunk vibrated with the roar of progress, the relentless churning of machinery announcing the arrival of the Industrial Revolution. The mills grew into imposing brick behemoths, their tall smokestacks spewing forth a constant plume of dark smoke. Investors poured money into Manayunk, constructing new mills equipped with the latest technology. Water wheels gave way to more powerful steam engines. Manayunk wasn't just producing textiles, it was producing wealth, jobs, and a future that seemed limitless. The demand for Manayunk's textiles seemed insatiable. Cotton and wool arriving via the canal were transformed into cloth that clothed the nation. Dawn in Manayunk was heralded by the deep guttural blast of the factory whistle. The streets, moments before cloaked in the quiet of pre-dawn slumber, were suddenly alive with the tramping of feet. Men, women and even children marched towards the mills, their faces etched with a mixture of weariness and determination. Inside the mills, the air was thick with the smell of oil, sweat and fibres that filled the air like a fine, inescapable snow. The deafening roar of machinery drowned out all conversation, leaving workers to communicate through gestures and knowing glances. Each worker was a small, replaceable part in a vast, unforgiving machine, their individual lives insignificant against the backdrop of the mill's insatiable appetite for production. The mills of Manayunk demanded more than just labour, they demanded lives. Workers, often putting in 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, had little time for anything beyond mere survival. Families crowded into cramped, poorly ventilated tenements that sprung up around the factories. Child labour was a grim reality, with children as young as 8 or 9 working in the mills. The mills, while offering a path out of poverty for many, also brought with them a new set of dangers. Workplace accidents were a constant threat. Fingers crushed in gears, limbs mangled by belts, and lungs choked by cotton dust were a constant reminder of the price paid for progress. Life in Manayunk, despite its hardships, was not devoid of hope. A strong sense of community, forged in the crucible of shared adversity, bound the workers and their families together. They looked out for one another, offering a helping hand, a kind word, or a shared meal when times were tough. Churches, their steeples offering a hopeful counterpoint to the dominance of the factory smokestacks, became centres of solace and support. Sunday services, a brief respite from the relentless grind of the work week, provided a much-needed spiritual uplift. Saloons, their warm interiors offering refuge from the harsh realities of life in a mill town, provided a place for workers to unwind after a long shift. Over mugs of beer and shots of whiskey, they shared stories, sang songs, and found solace in the company of others who understood their struggles. As the community grew, so too did its institutions. Schools, though often overcrowded and underfunded, offered children a glimmer of hope for a better future. Social clubs and fraternal organisations provided a sense of belonging and camaraderie. Life in Manayunk, while far from idyllic, was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. While the mills dominated Manayunk's landscape and defined its identity, life in the town wasn't solely confined to the rhythmic clatter of looms and the hiss of steam. Beyond the factory gates, a vibrant if gritty community thrived, catering to the needs of the workers and their families. Main Street, a bustling thoroughfare that snaked its way through the heart of Manayunk, was a microcosm of the town's diversity. Shops, their windows displaying a tempting array of goods, catered to the needs of the working class. Butchers, bakers and candlestick makers all vied for the attention of shoppers. Saloons, their swinging doors offering a glimpse into a world of warmth and camaraderie, lined the street, their proprietors eager to quench the thirst of weary workers. The aroma of roasting peanuts and the sounds of laughter and lively conversation spilled out onto the sidewalk. As Manayunk prospered, so too did its entrepreneurial spirit. New businesses, sensing opportunity, sprang up to meet the demands of the growing community. Doctors, lawyers and shopkeepers set up shop, providing essential services to the town's residents. Manayunk, once a sleepy village, was evolving into a bustling small town. The prosperity brought by the Industrial Revolution was not without its dark side. Manayunk's success was built on the backs of its workers, many of whom faced exploitation and dangerous working conditions in the pursuit of profit. The mill owners, driven by the relentless pursuit of profit, often prioritized production over the well-being of their workforce. Wages were kept low and workers were expected to toil long hours with little regard for their safety or well-being. Labor unrest, fueled by resentment over low wages, dangerous working conditions and the lack of worker protections, simmered beneath the surface of Manayunk's booming economy. Strikes, though often met with resistance from mill owners and local authorities, became increasingly common. The gap between the haves and the have-nots widened. The mill owners, their wealth growing alongside their factories, enjoyed a life of comfort and privilege, while the workers who toiled in their mills struggled to make ends meet. The seeds of social unrest were sown, threatening to disrupt the delicate fabric of life in Manayunk. The warning signs were subtle at first, whispers of change carried on the winds of economic uncertainty. The textile industry began to show signs of strain. Competition from southern mills chipped away at Manayunk's dominance. World War II brought new challenges. Manpower shortages and material rationing took their toll. The hum of machinery became sporadic, punctuated by silence. The rise of synthetic fabrics dealt another blow. Consumers turned away from Manayunk's products. The Schuylkill Canal became a victim of its own success. Railroads supplanted the canal as the primary mode of transportation. One by one, the mills began to fall silent. The rhythmic clatter of looms, once the soundtrack of Manayunk, was replaced by an eerie quiet. The smokestacks, once symbols of prosperity, stood as silent sentinels, their plumes of smoke replaced by wisps of rust and decay. Workers, many of whom had spent their entire lives toiling in the mills, found themselves jobless, their skills rendered obsolete by the changing times. The streets of Manayunk, once bustling with the energy of a town at the heart of industry, took on a sombre air. Businesses that had sprung up to serve the needs of the mill workers, the corner stores, the saloons, the boarding houses, felt the ripple effects of the decline. The lifeblood of commerce slowed to a trickle, leaving behind empty storefronts and a pervasive sense of uncertainty. Manayunk, once a beacon of industrial might, had become a symbol of the challenges faced by countless factory towns across America. The promise of progress, once so tangible in the roar of machinery and the plumes of factory smoke, seemed to evaporate like mist on a summer morning. The decline of the textile industry left a void in Manayunk, both physically and emotionally. The mills, once teeming with life, stood as hollow reminders of a bygone era. Their vast interiors, once filled with the din of machinery, echoed with emptiness. The town's population dwindled as families sought opportunities elsewhere. Those who remained faced an uncertain future, their lives upended by the loss of jobs and the disappearance of the only way of life they had ever known. The social fabric of Manayunk, woven together over generations by the shared experiences of life in a mill town, began to fray. The churches and social clubs that had once served as pillars of the community struggled to stay afloat as their congregations dispersed and their membership rolls dwindled. Manayunk, caught in the throes of transition, was at a crossroads. The path forward was shrouded in uncertainty, the echoes of its industrial past a constant reminder of what had been lost. Yet, beneath the surface of decline, the seeds of resilience and reinvention were beginning to take root. Section 4. Green Shoots of Change. While the decline of the textile industry cast a long shadow over Manayunk, it also created opportunities for reinvention. The mills, once symbols of industrial might, became canvases for a new generation of artists, entrepreneurs and dreamers. Drawn by the area's affordability, its architectural character, and its proximity to Center City, Philadelphia, artists began to colonize the abandoned mills. They saw potential in the high ceilings, the large windows, and the raw industrial spaces that had once housed machinery and workers. Entrepreneurs, recognizing the value of these unique spaces, began to invest in their renovation. Old mills were transformed into loft apartments, art galleries and studios, their industrial past celebrated rather than erased. The arrival of artists and entrepreneurs brought with them a new energy, a sense of creativity and possibility that began to permeate the streets of Manayunk. The town, once defined by its industrial past, was embarking on a new chapter, embracing its history while looking towards the future. Section 5. A new generation reimagines the past. As Manayunk transitioned from an industrial hub to a haven for artists and entrepreneurs, a new generation began to rediscover the town's rich history and architectural heritage. The mills, once symbols of hardship and decline, were now seen as testaments to the town's resilience and its enduring spirit. Efforts to preserve and celebrate Manayunk's industrial past gained momentum. Historical societies were formed, walking tours were organized, and festivals were held to commemorate the town's heritage. The stories of the mill workers, once largely forgotten, were now being told and honored. The revitalization of Manayunk's historic Main Street played a key role in the town's transformation. The storefronts that had once housed butchers, bakers and candlestick makers were now home to trendy boutiques, art galleries and award-winning restaurants. The towpath along the Schuylkill Canal, once used by mules to pull barges laden with goods, was transformed into a scenic recreational trail. Runners, bikers and walkers now enjoyed the same views that had once greeted the workers who toiled on the canal. Section 6. From Grit to Gallery Openings. The transformation of Manayunk from a gritty industrial town to a vibrant arts and cultural destination was nothing short of remarkable. The mills that had once employed thousands of workers were now home to artists, musicians and entrepreneurs, their creativity breathing new life into the town's historic buildings. The streets of Manayunk, once quiet and deserted, were now alive with activity. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sounds of laughter and conversation spilling out from sidewalk cafes. Gallery openings, street fairs and live music filled the air with a palpable energy. Manayunk had become a destination, a place where visitors could experience the charm of a historic riverfront town while enjoying the amenities of a thriving urban village. Young professionals, drawn by the area's affordability, its proximity to Center City, and its unique blend of old and new, flocked to Manayunk, further fueling its renaissance. The transformation of Manayunk was a testament to the power of reinvention, the ability of a community to embrace its past while forging a new future. Main Street, USA, modern-day Manayunk, a neighborhood that wears its history on its sleeve yet pulses with youthful energy. Walk these historic bricks and you'll feel the echoes of the past harmonizing with the rhythms of the present. A vibrant tapestry of independent businesses, each a thread in the rich fabric of this reborn community. It's a feast for the senses, a reminder that in Manayunk the past isn't just preserved, it's celebrated. The Schuylkill River, once the lifeblood of Manayunk's industrial past, has been reborn as a source of recreation and tranquility. The towpath is now a haven for runners, bikers, and those seeking peace amidst the urban landscape. Kayakers and rowers glide along the water's surface, their colourful vessels a stark contrast to the barges of the past. The revitalised riverfront preserves natural beauty while embracing industrial heritage. Today, the Schuylkill River connects Manayunk to parks, trails and waterfront communities. Look closely at the buildings that line Manayunk's streets and you'll see the stories etched into their very bricks and mortar. The imposing facades of former textile mills, now repurposed as loft apartments and artist studios, stand as proud reminders of the neighbourhood's industrial heritage. The large windows, once designed to flood the factory floors with natural light, now offer breathtaking views of the city skyline and the Schuylkill River. The exposed brick walls and timber beams, once purely functional elements, now lend a sense of warmth and character to these reimagined spaces. But it's not just the grand old mills that tell Manayunk's story. The row houses that line the steep, winding streets once home to mill workers and their families have been lovingly restored. Their colourful facades are testament to the community's vibrant spirit. Even the sidewalks themselves seem to whisper tales of the past. Look closely, and you'll spot the iron rings embedded in the brick, once used to tether horses and carriages. In Manayunk, history isn't something confined to museums and textbooks. It's woven into the very fabric of everyday life. The clatter of textile machinery may be a distant memory in Manayunk, but a different kind of industry is thriving within the walls of its former mills. The entrepreneurial spirit that built this neighbourhood during its industrial heyday is alive and well, finding new expression in the 21st century. The cavernous spaces that once housed looms and spinning machines are now home to a new breed of artisans and craftspeople. Microbreweries, their copper tanks gleaming under exposed ductwork, craft small batch beers with names that pay homage to Manayunk's past. Coffee roasters, the air thick with the aroma of freshly ground beans, fuel the creative energy of artists and entrepreneurs. Small batch distilleries, their copper stills gleaming like relics from a bygone era, produce handcrafted spirits that capture the essence of this unique neighbourhood. Manayunk's industrial past has become a source of inspiration for a new generation of makers and creators. They're taking the raw materials of history and forging a new identity for this neighbourhood, one that honours its heritage while embracing the possibilities of the future. Section 5. Festivals and First Fridays. Manayunk knows how to throw a party. The streets come alive with festivals and events that celebrate the neighbourhood's unique spirit. It's a chance for the community to come together and showcase creativity. The Manayunk Arts Festival transforms Main Street into an open-air gallery, showcasing the works of artists and craftspeople. Live music, food vendors and family activities create a festive atmosphere. First Fridays celebrate art and culture. Galleries and studios open late, offering a chance to mingle with artists. Experience the neighbourhood's creative energy firsthand. From the street food festival to the out and about during the holidays, there's always something to celebrate in Manayunk. These events are a testament to the strong sense of community. Section 6. Manayunk on my mind. As the sun sets over the Schuylkill River, casting a warm glow on the historic buildings, it's easy to see why Manayunk has captured the hearts of so many. It's a neighbourhood where the grit of its industrial past coexists with the creativity of its present. Manayunk is a neighbourhood in constant evolution, a place where the echoes of the past serve as inspiration. Whether you're strolling down Main Street or enjoying a craft beer at a local brew pub, there's a palpable energy in Manayunk, a sense of possibility that's contagious. Manayunk is a neighbourhood that stays with you long after you've left its cobblestone streets behind. Section 1. A Phoenix Rises. Manayunk's story is a testament to the enduring spirit of reinvention. Born from the Industrial Revolution, Manayunk could have faded into obscurity. But like a phoenix, it found new life through creativity and resilience. The mills became the cornerstones of its transformation, silent witnesses to a bygone era, reborn as canvases for artists and dreamers. The rhythmic clatter of looms gave way to art gallery conversations, the hiss of steam replaced by the clinking of glasses in gastropubs, the Schuylkill River, once powering industries, now a source of recreation. Its banks a tapestry of green spaces and revitalized towpaths, the echoes of the past woven into a new narrative. Celebrating history while embracing the future. To walk the streets of Manayunk today is to experience this transformation. The air hums with creativity, community and entrepreneurial spirit. History is palpable in the restored architecture and the soul of the neighbourhood. Section 2. Manayunk Tomorrow. What does the future hold for Manayunk? Manayunk has shown a remarkable ability to adapt and thrive. The influx of new residents brings both opportunities and challenges. Balancing historic character with new ideas is crucial. Manayunk's story is far from over. It's a place where echoes of yesterday harmonize with dreams of tomorrow.